Welcome everybody to another Tower of God ranking video. Today we're covering Name Hunt Station moments. Now at this same time, you can go over to the AoA channel because there is a sequel video where they're breaking down the main abilities, the most overpowered abilities showcased at the Name Hunt Station. Quick little disclaimer here, we're wrapping up the Name Hunt Station with these two videos, but there might be some changes to the way we handle the ranking series going forward. We might be experimenting with the way the video format is, or maybe on certain channels, certain things will be happening. So stay tuned for that. We're still gonna cover Floor of Death next, but it might be different in the way we talk about it. And in fact, if you guys have any ideas on how we can improve these ranking videos, we'd love to hear them in the comments down below. But with that said, let's jump into it. Number 6. Take it away, Isaiah.
Okay, and number 6 on this list is Bam Meeting Karaka. Now, what's really cool about this part is it's the first official meeting of Bam and Karaka, right? Both of them being Slayers, or at the very least, Bam being a Slayer candidate, and Karaka noticing, realizing, and then targeting Bam because he's an irregular. This showdown has sort of been hinted at for a while, and it's really cool to see them face each other, although they don't actually fight per se. Bam does have an interesting moment where he brings up the Rings of Jihad, and that's really interesting, mainly because we know at this point in the story that Wangnan has a ring. So this conversation here doesn't only establish a connection between Bam and Karaka, but also between Wangnan and Karaka. It's really awesome. It's an interesting little tidbit into the later lore of the story here, and that's why it made it on the list.
All right, so the 5th best moment for us in our estimation is when Shibisu lets Bam and Kun go through the doors necessary in order to fight Kaiser, right, and fulfill Bam's role in this mission, this overall narrative and plot here, right? This is a big moment for Shibisu in general, we thought, because of the fact that Shibisu has to learn a little bit more about what it takes to be a leader, right? In that sense, there is a lot of hot contention in the beginning of whether he's making the right choice or not, who's in the right, who's in the wrong. But the point is that his plan proceeded forward utilizing Bam as Viol without Bam's consent to it, right? And that was wrong. So in the estimation here that Shibisu has about himself, he realizes at the end that he's like, you know what? I'm in the wrong. I need to do something to rectify this. And although it takes him a lot to be able to do it, he finally does do it in the end. And this was a big moment for him. Of course, there's a sweet explosion behind. And it just shows, again, why Shibisu, among many characters, is just so fantastic at what he does. I just have the utmost respect for that character in general. The fact that he has to wrangle in all of these ridiculous teammates between Hots and Anak and Dorsey. Half the people don't listen to him. Half the people are just way stronger than him, almost all of them. So he has to go through a lot as a leader here. And this is just one of those growing moments, which makes me believe that Shibisu is going to be one of the greats when all things are said and done. So for those reasons, this one's coming in at number 5 on the list.
Okay, and number 4 on the list is Bam's conversation with Kun during the Name Hunt Station. So in this arc, one of Bam's struggles as a character is trying to decipher whether he should be this god-like figure that Fug wants him to be, where it's more about granting other people's wishes, making everyone else happy, and fulfilling this grandiose destiny that he has, or if he should just worry about being Bam, right? Worry about being a person, a human, the things and desires that he wants, and be putting those things first. This conversation that he has with Kun is essentially displaying one of the reasons that Bam and Kun's dynamic and relationship works so well, right? Kun is always the person to not only drag Bam back down to earth and remind him that he is a person and his wants and needs do matter and they should be validated and come first, but he's the only person that genuinely seems, amongst the few people that we also have in the Name Hunt Station here, that care about Bam and want what's best for Bam first, that aren't trying to use him or manipulate him or, you know, get him to use his power for their cause or their need, or, you know, melt him down and make him this thing so they can use some weapon. Like, this conversation perfectly displays why what matters to Kun is that Bam is happy, and what matters to Bam is that Kun is happy. And it's just a really nice, touching moment. And this is why it's going at number 4.
All right, number 3 on our ranking list. Come on, we got to include Elaine, right? This is Elaine's backstory. Now, this isn't necessarily a moment, right? There is a moment where Alfine goes into the history and lore surrounding how Elaine became Kaiser, but still, we wanted to include it just because hearing about it was so vital to the character of Elaine. We only really knew her as Kaiser, so this really humanized her and gave us a perspective. Hearing about how she was essentially tricked into abandoning her position. Well, she didn't even abandon it. She was stripped of her position as a future princess, and she was tricked into it. It's so sad. She was a child who fell in love, you know, but it was all a setup. The boy was a setup. He was in on it, that little prick. It's just so sad, you know, you really feel for Elaine here, and this ties into obviously everything that happens later with Elaine and Bomb and the conversation they have. She forgot her own name. She forgot her own name because she cared so much about her family. It's so good. Her backstory is fantastic. It had to be high up on the list, and here it is. And then we have number 2. Back to back here, we got Eywa's sacrifice. Guys, anytime Eywa is involved, I gotta be the one talking about it, come on. This might be something that you guys have forgotten about, but at the end of the name hunt station, Bomb and company are running past Karaka, you know, trying to go unscathed into the Hell Train once again. Yuri's fighting him and Evan's trying to protect them and all. It's really cool. But the injured, right? Eywa, Danwa, and Rak were all injured. They're struggling. So Bomb is with them, you know, and Dorsey's trying to bong them back. Stuff happens, and Karaka tries to kill Bomb. You know, he tries to take out Bomb, but who steps in? Who steps in to take the blow? Danwa, I'm kidding. It's Eywa. Eywa frickin', she steps in front of it and she says, no, it's okay. She basically says, go ahead. It's basically like where she pushes him forward and says, it's fine. It's fine. And she literally says, everything is fine. And there's a gigantic explosion. She could have died. And the moment, okay, look, she didn't die. She didn't die, but that's beside the point. The point here is that she was prepared to die. And so Eywa continues to show that she is best girl. Guys, she almost gave her life for Bomb. Like, come on. It's a sweet moment. It's one that people forget about. We wanted to include it at number 2 because we cannot forget how Eywa truly almost gave her life for Bomb.
All right, guys. So before we get into number 1 on our list today, we have to throw out some honorable mentions as there were so many amazing moments in this arc of Tower of God, but unfortunately not all of them could make the list. So the first honorable mention would have to be Inietta's backstory. Inietta is just a fan favorite character, and this moment was very heartwarming to see in his final moments here, and gave us a little bit more insight into Elaine and what kind of person that she was as well. So this is definitely one of those key moments. Also, one of the other moments would be when Hots decapitates Chagrinsky, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, after Chagrinsky tries to say that 8 times fast, but tries to basically turn the tables on Shibasu's team, and Hots is just having none of it and just slices the dude's head off just for badass points. That one ranks up there as well. And finally, when Kun finds out, or Shibasu, that Maria is actually in on this maniacal princess plot here, and how that's going to shake things up in the future. But anyway, those are our honorable mentions for today's video. All right, so coming in at number 1 on our list today is none other than Elaine's dance. At least that's the moment that I'm dubbing it as. This was just a fantastic moment. We get to see Elaine for all that she is. Physically, because she's absolutely stunning and gorgeous, but also just as a character, right? What is intrinsically linked to Elaine, all of her beliefs, her emotions, everything just kind of put forward to see, right, in this moment. I personally loved it. We got to see just Elaine for who she truly was. It was a fantastic thing to see. And also Jin Sung, I would have to say, incorporated into this moment when he just stunts on everyone and says, yeah, I'm rich. What are you going to do about it, right? When he goes to purchase at the auction there, putting down that 10 billion was amazing. But really, seeing all the things that Elaine has gone through here, knowing her full backstory now, it's finally fleshed out by the time we get to this point. We saw this amazing fight with her and Bomb earlier, and we see that she's really trying to turn a new leaf here, especially since she's been on the other side of the leaf for roughly 1,000 years at this point. So this is huge for her to try and finally change herself and be something better, not only for herself, although she has to start there, but for others as well going down the line. But this is the first step towards that. And we finally get to see Elaine be Elaine, what she was really destined to be, what she's truly capable of, her best self, instead of hidden behind the mask, solemn, gloomy, all of these, terrible negative emotions that surrounded her. Now she gets to be the best version of herself. And for that reason, this comes in at number 1 for the top moments in the Name Hunt Station.
Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video and our thoughts and comments, then go check out the AoA channel because they have a lot of discussion videos. They're currently reading through Tower of God. They're in the middle of Season 3, The Cage, guys. I love The Cage arc, They're blowing through it, but still, I love hearing their opinions and such. And they have discussion videos, again, like 2 discussion videos each week, and a reaction and a blog post. It's so much fun. Definitely check out their channel, and if you want to support this channel, then you can leave a comment down below. And there's a Patreon down below. Patrons, you guys freaking rule. I love you all. Discord channel down below. Go make some dank memes. And with that, I'll see you guys in our next Tower of God ranking video. Take care.